let's go ahead and make him get hurt and change size. Which again, I don't want to do it with sprite frames because I want him to have a blowing animation and a flying animation. And those animations might be like 2 to 4 frames. And I don't know if my brain could figure out how to make that work if I had his sizes all be on 1. If he was all on 1, it'd be easy because I could be frame 1, 2, 3, 4 and just change every time he gets hit. But his hitbox would have to change in size too. And depending on what frame he's on, he would need to be able to do as a different blowing animation, idle animation, flying animation, death animation. 4 different animations for each size. So if on frame 1, place large of those versions. If on frame 2, play medium of those versions. If on frame 3, play small of those versions. If on frame 4, play tiny of those versions. Does that make more sense? I don't know. I don't know what the smartest move is. Let's do this. Let's call this sprite all sizes Ghusty. Can I change this per size? Not. Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna do that then. I'm just gonna have different ones. So we need to be able to jump to different sprites. Do we do that through one object? Okay, let's add a collision event with, yeah, just do platforms for now. So I basically need to do if sprite equal 4, then change to 3, and then repeat, right? So 3 would change to 2, 2 would change to 1, 1 will be dead whenever they hit this object. So then if I do that, then logically in my head, I would have to like get animation. So then this is like my movement animation, right? In a perfect world, I could say current sprites equals this sprite, play current sprites movements. So then each one would have a horizontal animation, a slightly up animation, and a slightly down animation. I don't know if this is, if positive is up or not, but I'm just using that for my own brain. And then I need to add like I don't know if it's a step event that I need to add, but basically the expectation is if there no button pressed, then play idle. But I would still need this. So I still have to get current sprite equals a sprite. And if there is no button pressed, then play idle, current sprites idle. Okay, I think that's what I need. And then I need a function key, right? A key press, because it's 1, you have to press multiple times. So do letter spacebar. That way you can keep your fingers on Wasad. So if this is, then I would, same thing, where I would have to know what the current sprite is. Then once I have the current sprite, oh, interesting. Actually, okay, this is actually a little bit different. So assuming I can get current sprite, then I would do is poof blowing animation, play poof animation dot this sprite's poof animation, and then so this is the thing is I need to do this again, right? So this almost exists as a separate function. Like if we were to make like let's do a I'll do a placeholder. This is not what I'll do, but I'll have a script that does this right here. I'll basically run alarm 0, which is Ghusty's size change space. Then I have to do this too. I have to play the sprite's poof animation. Then I have to get this. Then I have to do the size change. Okay, I think that makes logical sense because I'm gonna need to add another collision. Use this as a reference point. So this is like the opposite of Ghusty's size change. This is him grow in its size. It'd be cool if I can pass through a variable to like increase variable, which is set by a negative or positive impact. And then so if it's sprite 4, then it will change to negative or positive. Negative, positive, negative, positive, positive. But 0 is least max. So then if I can do this increase decrease var, what I can do here is I can set the increase decrease variable to positive and then run the Ghusty script. And then on a negative impact, I can set the increase decrease variable negative and then do the size change. Because if I create other obstacles, I don't have to like type this in every single time. So this is a negative obstacle, you know, and increase decrease variable is negative, which means if he touches this obstacle, he has a negative impact. The negative impact for us is him decreasing in size until he dies. But here is a positive impact. So here, instead of decreasing in size until he dies, we want him to increase in size until he gets to max. If it equals 4, nothing happens. No need to change size and to configure all this stuff. Okay, so this is, I'm not saying I'm going to use alarms, you know, or anything like that. I don't know what I need to use right now. But I know you can create scripts, and that might be the best way to do it. But I need to think about it. But this goes under the assumption that I can physically change what that is set to during gameplay. The other option is to create an object for each version of Ghusty and just have one object delete itself and be replaced with something else. But let me just see if I can do this first. Let me save this. I think logically this makes sense to me. I'm not saying it's the best way to do it, but it makes sense. GameMaker Studio 2, change objects, Sprite. Object set sprite. Yeah, there's a command for that. With this function, you can set the sprite index of a specific object. It means that all instances of this object are created after the sprite index has been changed will be created with this new sprite index. While instances that are already in the room may not be affected. So this is the example they give. The above code will set object player sprite index to different values depending on the room. So on switch room, if it's room start, then set the sprite to this. If it's room middle, then set the sprite to this. Then create that instance. That seems complicated. Okay, so the reason why I was not keen on this after reading it is because in the documentation, it basically says that it won't change existing instances, it'll change new instances of that object. But then it says, please note this is not an instance function. You can set the sprite index individual instances, which is what I want to do, I think, using sprite index command. But what's interesting is I found a Reddit article who says if there's only one instance of your object, you can just use object.spriteIndex, whatever, which is exactly what this command does. I think this is what I want, because I want to change the existing instance, not a new instance. If collision line, etc., then change sprite index. Okay, so if this is what I want, I comment out large chunks of code like that. Cool. Great. Okay, so can you query sprite index for this? Or can you only set sprite index for this? Let's find out. First, let's just change the sprite index. Sprite index equals SPR underscore small. All right, does that work? So if I hit a platform, I expect I'd go tiny. I don't know actually what's happening because I have too many sprites. Yeah. I can stop that guy from moving. Well, we'll figure that out later. I get stuck there sometimes, I don't know why. Back on track, what we did learn is that the, it does work, but I need to see if I can query sprite index. Get objects sprite. Object get sprite. Great, this is exactly what I want. This is a little forced, right? But this is kind of what I want. Get sprite, and we'll do object index. If sprite index does not equal, actually let's do that. Just to say Ghusty 1 equals that. Ghusty 2. If sprite index equals Ghusty 4, then go to Ghusty 3. Really hacky. See if that works. I don't think I wrote that right. I did not. Variable, if sprite equals, do I need the variable in front of it? Just in case, we'll do that. And then let's get the current sprites. We need an if and. Okay, if current sprite, the sprite index, if current sprite equals Ghusty 4, then sprite index equals Ghusty 3. Okay, I think that works. All right, now let's get hacky. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is how we're doing this. This is just, hold on. We're just making things happen. Okay, so he's just gonna loop through. 4, 3. Broke something. Why is 3 not going on 2? Current sprite equals Ghusty 4 and Ghusty 3. Current sprite equals... You just do anything for Ghusty 1. Let's just see if we can get down it. Because I wonder if it's evaluating all at the same time. Why does he not want to go into smaller? That here. Do that here. Global variable. Global. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. Put this inside the camera. Well, I thought that would work, but it seems to not detect the other ifs. I don't know why. Make me smaller. Smaller. Call this current Ghusty sprite. Small. All right, let's get some darn text on the screen. Sprite size equals 2, but it's not. It's 4. What's going on, Ghusty? I'm confused on what this is trying to say. Sprites, get objects, sprite name. Oh, I think that's what I need. I think this is what I need. This is index, and this is... That's what I was... Okay. Okay, so I was returning the index number, not the sprite name. Just being a dum-dum. Okay, so now that I have the sprite name, step event, it means it should change every single time there's a step event. But it also means I probably could just do it on collision and I don't have to do it every single step. But we're gonna... That's fine, let's just try this first. This is how I'd expect it to work. Not changing. If the name equals 4, then please change it to 3. If the name equals 3, then please change it to 2. I don't want to like spam through it. I feel like what I want to do makes sense in my head. I just don't know. On collision, when it collides with this object, get the sprite index, which doesn't do anything right now, but get the sprite index name. If the sprite index name equal Ghusty, then change the sprite index to Ghusty 3. If the sprite index equals Ghusty 2, Ghusty 3, then change the sprite index to Ghusty 2. I have a different way to do this, but I'm stubborn. I want to do it this way right now. Yeah, I'm not sure who likes and think about this. I think I know what I have to do. I just don't know if I have the strength to do it. All right, quick update. Good news, I got it to work. Bad news is I have no idea what I was trying to do earlier. So I just gave collision with the platform a make small number. By default, make small is set to 0. If make small is less than or equals 4, then just make it 1 greater. And if it's greater than 4, then just switch it back to 1. So my step event, I simplified everything there. So if make small equals 1, then do this sprite, this sprite, this sprite, and then this sprite. It won't loop actually, I'm just having it loop for now. And I just put all this in the camera for now. What I was doing wrong before, I don't know. But I think what I thought is if this variable equaled this sprite, then getting the sprite name here, if this sprite name equaled the sprite that I specified, then change it to a different sprite. But that doesn't work. It doesn't want to look at that. I wonder what would have fixed it is by sprite index get name and then sprite. That probably would have. Sprite index get name sprite. Yeah, I feel like that probably would have worked. So if I want to, I can always revert back to that. But it was just me assuming that if a variable equals sprite equal the sprite's name, when I don't think it does. I think the correct way to do it would be variable equals sprite, get sprite name variable would return the name of that sprite. I'll switch back to that if I want to, but right now this does work, so I'm happy with that. You can see it. For anyone who's experienced even a little bit, you'll know exactly what's about to happen. Look at that. He just likes to change sizes a lot. And the reason why he's changing sizes a lot up here is because he's constantly hitting. So every tick, it's declaring that as a hit, which is changing his size, which is fine. But I don't want that. What I do want is I need to give him like a period of invulnerability, which is fine. I can do that. So I need to move on to another project for now. But when I come back, I'll give him a period of invulnerability. I'm not really concerned with why these hitboxes aren't lining up right now. I'll fix that later. Then once I have that sorted out, I'll pipe the whole thing into a spacebar command that shoots air and also makes them smaller. Okay, cool, good progress. We'll check back again in a bit.